Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo over an interview on Monday has explained his administration's plan in tackling the coronavirus disease. In the interview on Channels Television, Sanwo said they don't need to vaccinate 20 million Lagos residents as the plan is to ensure herd immunity. He also revealed that the state government is engaging some companies in the production of COVID-19 vaccines for the residents of the state.
Okay, so let's talk about vaccines, because if Lagos has 44,580 cases, then that shows the magnitude of, how many people you need to vaccine, a population of over 20 million people. I know that the governors recently met under the aegis of the Nigeria Governors Forum. There was some discussion about vaccine, deployment or purchase. For Lagos State, seeing the peculiar position which Lagos State has as the epicenter of this virus, what is your plan? Are you planning to purchase vaccines outside of the NGF or the PTF, Primary Healthcare Development Agency? What are you really thinking about?
Well, thank you. So it's at different levels. We actually want the federal government to take the lead, and rightful so. As a sovereign, they have all of the protocols and all of the contacts to make that happen, right? And we're conversing. We're still having another meeting on Tuesday with PTF and NCDC, under the federal umbrella. And so what that does is, internationally, there's also a coalition that has come together, about 190 countries, in which working with the WHO, there's a list of how they want to be able to ensure that even the poor nations and the fairly disadvantaged nations must also have the vaccines, at some point in time. So Nigeria, has got involved in that. But we want the nation to take the lead, as a state, and we're giving them that space, and because they're sovereign, they can have that conversation. But other than that, as a subnational, we're also taking our destiny to our hands. We've started conversations with all of the vaccine, with some of the vaccine manufacturers. Pfizer, for example, I have made contact with them. The Oxford, AstraZeneca, I've made contact with them. Johnson & Johnson are not out yet. The Mandela, they've written to us, we've written back to them. So we are making our own subnational contacts, and part of the things that will come out of it is that once we see what the national is doing, because this is also something that we do not want to begin to deal with middlemen or people that are not, the frontline suppliers in some of these vaccines. We don't want to run foul of the protocols, but we've started making, the contact even at the board level with the manufacturers, but how that will work out, we still have a week or two to see, but we've started making the contacts already. Okay, just quickly. And it's important for me to make this, we don't have to vaccinate the 20 million or 22 million population that we have. The plan is around to just ensure that there's an herd immunity, and that typically speaks about 50 to 60% of your population. That's the kind of target that you need to really meet.
Well, with that target, clearly you have maybe a figure in mind. So how much funds really is Lagos State setting aside? Because I imagine this is not in the 2021 budget as laid before the State Assembly. So how much funds really are you planning to set aside to purchase vaccines?
Well, the conversations are still at various levels. We're speaking with the organized private sector, so they can also help us raise some of the finance that is required. Right, and we have our friends in the private sector who are saying to us, they understand that this is a public health issue, but we also can work with you because the citizens are your citizens, but they also are staff. We can have a conversation and have a middle point, and be able to jointly raise the finance that is required of it. So we have a decent amount of money in our budget, around COVID, a couple of billions that we'll put in there. It certainly will not be enough. But a lot of grants will also come in from Gavi, which is a global body which we're speaking to. And so we know that there will be support that will come in. But we can make the first step, and ensure that we'll put our money where our mouth is. But we're working with the private sector, to be able to raise the required funding for this.
Well, quick.